Yes, hi guys. This video is for a user's request to show how you can create an object like this where you have some nice 45-degree angle cuts. I believe the request was to keep them as separate pieces so you can make it assembly. So in this example I have it only one, but I'm going to show you how you can do it actually in both ways. How you can create something like this in one piece and how you create it in multiple pieces. And I'm going to show you two different ways to do that. The most simplest ways how you can achieve them. So let's get started. I'm going to delete this. The most basic way is you create a simple cube, you activate the face selection, you select the top face, and you go to inset. You can add any value. We're using just a random value 20, whichever value works for you. In this particular case, I'll show you first what I showed before in one piece. I'm going to go to extrusion, and if you extrude them the exact number that the height of the cube is 100, you can snap it by moving it or type in the exact number. It will actually create a hole. And now you can see you got basically this. Then I just scaled it down to the value that should look the way you saw it before. But how can I do this? I'm going to undo this. How can I make it into separate pieces? So all I need to do is, instead of using the extrusion, I'll click here to deselect this face. And while face selection mode is still on, I'm going to select one of these faces. And I want to make a copy of that and create them into separate objects. So in order to make a copy, I can use basic copy, but then I need to position it again. So in copy offset, you can use all these fancy positioning, but if you don't enter any value, it creates a copy on the basic position. And by default, it will select the new copy, as you can see over here. So while this is already selected, I'm going to go to add thickness. I'm going to add a value, let's say for now also 20. And as you can see, we created a second object over here that is 20, and it's being selected. So I'm going to deselect this object, select back the original cube. I need to activate again the face mode, and clicking on this, and again clicking to make a copy, and again add thickness. It remembers my previous value of 20, and now I'm going to repeat the same thing. Deselect, select the original object, activate face mode, select one of these, make a copy, and add thickness, and then I need to do the same thing for the final shape. And I'm going to select this, make a copy, and add thickness. Okay, so now I'm going to select each of these objects that I just created. I'm going to center them. I'll double click move, or you can just open it, click once, and click over here, center. It's the same thing. It positions it over here. I'm going to click inverse selection to select the cube and deselect these. I'm clicking delete. So you see we have now this object. So just to verify it's actually a 45-degree angle, I'm going to go to the measurement tool, and I'm going to measure. I'm checking over here angle. See this highlighted angle, and I'm snapping from this point till this point till this point, and you see it prints over here 45-degree angle. So this is perfect, well done. But this is just rectangle. If you want to have some odd shapes, I'll show you the other way you can apply the same technique to the shape I just shown, which is basically just scaling faces. So let's get going. So I'm going to delete this part. I'm going to go to the cube generator now, so I can enter values. I'm going to enter a value over here 300, just to show you that you can actually enter larger values than what the slider gives you. Slider is only 200, you can enter bigger values. And the height, let's say, we'll make 20, the same we did last time. And the depth, let's say 40. I'm just using random numbers. I think let's keep it 60, make it look nice. Okay, and I'm going to finalize this shape. Now I'm going to go again to the cube generator, and I'm going to create a new shape with the same value, or maybe 200, just to show a different size. And I'm going to enter a rotation value in the Y to rotate it here around the Y to give it a 90-degree rotation. And you see over here, and I'm finalizing it. So now I have this, and I want to align this to this shape. So just I can recognize the shape, I'm going to give it a number, let's say 1, just to see what's happening. And while this shape is still selected, the shape I just created, I'm going to the align tool, and I'm going to choose to align it to number 1. And the bottom over here is good, but in this case, I want to align it to either the right side or the left side and to the front. So I'm going to go front left. That should be fine. So it's aligned to front left. So now I'm going to create the copy. So while this is still highlighted, I'm pressing down Control or Command, and you drag it. And you want to drag while you see the green line. If you move away, the green line disappears, means it's not aligned. The same thing if you move this way, but if you keep it the green line, you see it basically makes the copy. I'm going to position it here, but I'm going to use the position to this shape, so it doesn't really matter. So I know this is the shape of 172, or I can just name it. This is the shape that I need to align. Let's see, just to remember. This is the shape I need to align. Oh, I'm sorry, it's still number 1. Yeah, okay, same shape. So I'll align it again. Now go to the align tool over here, but now I need to align it to the right front. Oh, I need to choose number 1, and I go to the front right. So position it this way. So now what I need to do is I need now to align 1 to any of the other shapes, making the same thing, control and dragging a copy while the green line is on. And I need to align it to one of these shapes. So let's take this shape and let's name this 2 so I can recognize it. And I'm going to deselect this, select this shape again, and go to the align tool. I'm choosing number 2, and let's align it to the front right. So I need the left, front left over here. So this gives me this shape. Okay, so now let's just position it. I like to see things better positioned. Let's just position everything in the center. Okay, so what I need to see is the direction, the size of this direction. So I can keep everything selected or select just these 2. Actually select just these 2, and I go scale, and in scale I see the size is 320, and this direction the size 320. So I need to deselect now this. I'm going to select this shape, and I'm activating the face mode, and I'm clicking on this one, and I press S for scale, and I enter the value in the Z direction for 320 to match that size. So now I need to deselect this and repeat the same process for this particular shape. I'm selecting this face, S for scale, and I enter 320. Okay, so I'm deselecting, and now I need to know the, oops, clicked something wrong. Now I need to know the size on these directions. So I need to select these 2 shapes actually, and press S to see the size, and the size is 420. I scaled the mistake my entire screen instead of scaling the screen. Okay, so let's resize. Okay, so I have over here 420. So what I'm going to do is selecting this shape, activating face mode, scale, and typing in the X direction 420. So you can see already it starts getting together. So I need to select this shape, this particular one, in the same value, 420, in the X, and here you go. So now this is more elongated cube shape, and this is, now let's see the measurement. So I'm going to deselect everything. I'm just going to go to measurement now, and let's measure an angle again from this point until this point until this point, and here you see it's a 45-degree angle, perfectly done. There's other ways you can do it in 3D Sketch. If you have a more complex shape, not just 4 sides, you want to have it an amount of sizes, you may want to use Sketch, and there's a lot of advanced settings. But for this, 3D Sketch would be an overkill, and this probably be the easiest way. You can also use Boolean operations, but again, it's an overkill and will require a few steps to make it work properly. So I think in this particular use case, this was the request. Those 2 things are probably the easiest way to do it. And as I said before, that even the inset you can make in different shapes, because once you inset a shape, you can just scale it. So for example, if I'm going to, let's say, create a basic cube, but I'm stretching it to one side, make it bigger, let's say. And if I use inset with the value of, let's say, oops, not insetting entire shape, I want to select a single face. So if you do inset on this one, let's say if I do 20, this is, if that's what you want, that's fine, but you can also play with kind of scale this face in any direction to make a different size. But I think actually in this case this is what you would want, so it would be the same idea. But you can anytime scale the faces, and by the way, you don't necessarily have to scale the faces. You can also do the same thing selecting edges. So oops, so you can select, for example, go to edge mode, and you can select two edges. It will be the same idea, selecting faces, and you can scale these as well, enter values, and so on. So you can play a lot with moving the geometry, and yeah, so those should work. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you want me to do any other video. Thank you.